Cape Canaveral, Florida, has a rich history tied to its strategic location on the Atlantic coast, which made it a key site for exploration, trade, and eventually space exploration. The area's story begins long before its modern association with rockets and NASA. The region was originally inhabited by the Ace people, an indigenous group who lived along Florida's east coast for thousands of years. They relied on fishing, hunting, and gathering, thriving in the coastal environment until European contact in the 16th century. Spanish explorers, including Ponce de Leon, who landed near the Cape in 1513 while searching for the Fountain of Youth, were among the first Europeans to encounter the area. The name, Canaveral, likely derives from the Spanish word canaveral, meaning canebrake or reed bed, reflecting the local landscape. Throughout the colonial period, the Cape saw sporadic activity, Spanish shipwrecks, brief settlements, and conflicts with native tribes, but it remained largely undeveloped. By the 19th century, after Florida became a U.S. territory in 1821, the area drew small numbers of settlers. A lighthouse, completed in 1848, was built to guide ships along the treacherous coast, marking the beginning of permanent infrastructure. During the Civil War, Confederate blockade runners used the Cape's inlets to evade Union ships, highlighting its maritime significance. The modern era of Cape Canaveral began in the mid-20th century with the dawn of the space age. Its location was ideal for rocket launches, close to the equator for a rotational boost, with vast ocean to the east for safety. In 1949, President Harry Truman established the Joint Long-Range Proving Ground at the Cape, and on July 24, 1950, the first rocket, a German V-2 derivative called Bumper 8, lifted off from what became Cape Canaveral Air Force Station. The military initially drove operations, testing missiles like the Matador and Snark during the Cold War. NASA's arrival in the late 1950s transformed the Cape into a household name. The agency acquired land south of the Air Force Station, creating the Kennedy Space Center after President John F. Kennedy's 1961 moon landing pledge. The first manned launch, Mercury Redstone 3 carrying Alan Shepard, blasted off in 1961, and Apollo 11's historic moon mission followed in 1969. The Space Shuttle program, starting in 1981, further cemented the Cape's legacy, though tragedies like the Challenger disaster in 1986 underscored the risks. Beyond space, the nearby city of Cape Canaveral, incorporated in 1963, grew as a support hub for the space industry, its population swelling with workers and their families. Today, it's a mix of historic sites, like the original lighthouse, moved inland in 1894 to escape erosion, and modern launch pads hosting SpaceX, Blue Origin, and NASA missions. The Cape's evolution from indigenous lands to a launch pad for humanity's cosmic ambitions reflects both its natural advantages and its role in shaping history.